Ready for takeoff, everyone.
Sounds good to me.
Today we're diving deep into the world of early aviation.
The wild early days.
We've got a collection of stories about some of the pioneers
wow.
who dared to defy gravity when flight was still really in its infancy.
Just getting started.
And we're going to explore their dreams,
Our hopes.
their struggles,
Yes,
and the incredible leaps of innovation that took us from simple balloons to machines that could cross oceans.
It's pretty amazing, the ambition and ingenuity.
It really is.
I think what really gets me is that these early flights weren't just about technology.
Right.
They were about expanding the very horizons of human experience.
Really pushing those limits. So let's start our journey with the Montgolfier brothers, Joseph and Etienne, who essentially gave birth to the idea of ballooning. They were just captivated by birds, like a lot of us. I think they wondered, what if we could soar like them?
Yeah. I think what's so remarkable about the Montgolfiers is that they actually took that wonder and they turned it into action.
They were really driven.
Yeah, they weren't content to just watch.
Right.
They wanted to understand it. They wanted to experiment.
Yeah.
And they wanted to create. You know, their story really highlights that connection between observation and innovation. I mean, Joseph's aha moment when he saw hot air lift fabric. I mean, that sparked a revolution.
It really did.
In human transportation.
And to think that their early balloons were essentially glorified cloth boxes.
I mean,
held aloft by hot air from a simple fire.
So simple.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they were very careful and methodical. Even before they sent a person up, they would send animals up.
Oh, really?
Like a sheep, a duck.
A duck.
And a chicken.
Wow, that's amazing.
So they were pioneers, but they weren't reckless.
Right. So that first untethered flight over Paris must have been incredible.
The public reaction was just astonishment and fear.
And rightly so. I mean, it was unlike anything they'd ever seen before.
Yeah, a tangible manifestation of human ambition.
Taking flight. Yeah, literally.
It really, I think it captured the imagination of the world.
Pushing those boundaries again.
Yeah.
Of course, these early flights weren't without risks.
Of course not.
There was even a close call with fire during that first untethered ascent.
Yes, it's a reminder that they were operating in uncharted territory.
Really pushing the limits of what they knew.
Absolutely, and the dangers of early ballooning really underscore that.
Yeah.
But it's not just about balloons.
No.
It's about the spark of an idea, the dedication to experimentation.
To pushing the limits.
And the ripple effects of innovation.
So their work really laid the foundation for what would become a global obsession with conquering the skies.
Absolutely. And that obsession leads us to Louis Blériot, a man who took that dream of heavier-than-air flight and made it a reality. What do you think sparked his passion?
I think seeing Ader's Avion 3
yes.
at the 1900 Paris exhibition.
I think that's right.
Must have really inspired him.
Yeah, it was an early attempt at a powered airplane.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, for Blériot, it really ignited a lifelong fascination with the possibilities of flight.
I think it's interesting that his initial focus was on ornithopters.
Ornithopters.
Aircraft designed to fly by flapping their wings like birds.
Like a bird.
It's amazing.
So he was trying to build a mechanical bird.
That's what it sounds like.
And you know what?
What?
Even though those early attempts failed, it taught him a lot about the complexities of flight.
Yeah.
It was really valuable.
So he eventually shifted his focus to fixed-wing aircraft, similar to what the Wright brothers were doing in America. And Blériot partnered with Gabriel Voisin, honed his skills with gliders, and eventually they achieved powered flight.
That's right.
But what's really interesting is that his design philosophy differed from the Wright brothers. He championed the monoplane.
A monoplane.
A single-winged aircraft while they were focused on biplanes.
It just shows you that innovation isn't a straight line.
Right.
It branches out.
Yeah.
Like a tree.
With possibilities.
Exactly.
And then there's the story of his incredible flight across the English Channel, a feat deemed impossible.
Oh, yeah.
By many.
Well, the English Channel had long been seen as a barrier.
Right.
That couldn't be crossed. Getting a heavier-than-air machine.
Right. It was unthinkable.
And he wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Of course.
And he wasn't just competing against other aviators. He was competing against what people thought was possible.
The limits of what we knew.
Exactly.
He faced setbacks.
Yeah.
Fierce competition.
Of course.
And the ever-present dangers of early flight.
Yeah, and on July 25th, 1909, he took off from Calais, France.
Okay.
In his Blériot monoplane.
In rough weather, I hear.
Oh, the weather was terrible.
Yeah.
Strong winds.
Wow.
And fog.
It must have been.
Oh, it was so difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
And he had to fly low.
Oh, wow.
So he wouldn't get lost.
Wow.
In the fog.
Just relying on instinct?
Instinct.
Wow.
And a very basic compass.
It must have been terrifying.
Imagine being in that tiny cockpit.
Yeah.
Knowing that any mistake could be fatal.
It's incredible.
After 37 minutes.
Wow.
He landed in a field near Dover, England.
He did it.
He did it.
What was the reaction like?
Jubilation. The crowd went wild.
Oh, wow.
Cheering. And news spread like wildfire.
I bet.
And he became a global sensation.
Overnight.
It wasn't just a personal victory.
No.
It was a pivotal moment.
In aviation
history.
What a turning point.
It really was.
A real testament to ambition and ingenuity.
That's right.
And his contributions to aviation didn't stop there.
Oh, they didn't?
He designed more aircraft and played a role in developing aviation technology during World War I.
He did, and that's something we see with a lot of these pioneers.
Yeah.
You know, their inventions, born out of a passion for exploration,
right,
often get tied in with war.
Yeah, it's a reminder.
It is.
That innovation can be a double-edged sword.
It can.
So, our next aviation superstar, a name that needs no introduction.
Yeah.
Charles Lindbergh.
Lucky Lynn.
The man who conquered the Atlantic.
Yeah, what was it about flight that so captivated him?
I think Lindbergh just had this lifelong fascination with flying, going from barnstorming pilot to airmail carrier.
And those early airmail routes.
I know, they were so dangerous. Unpredictable weather, mechanical failures, the risk of crashing.
All the time.
And Lindbergh himself had a pretty terrifying experience.
I know, he had to parachute.
Yeah.
From a crashing mail plane.
That would have been it for me. I would have been done.
Most people would be.
Yeah.
But not Lindbergh.
It fueled his determination.
It's like surviving that.
Yeah.
Gave him a sense of purpose.
Wow.
You know, like a deeper appreciation for life.
Yeah.
Pushing boundaries.
So then came the Orteig Prize.
The Orteig Prize.
A challenge that captivated the world's attention.
What was it again?
To fly nonstop across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, wow.
And Lindbergh was determined to win it.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, that prize was the ultimate challenge.
He really was.
A test of human endurance.
Technological innovation.
And he meticulously prepared for the flight, overseeing the design and construction of a custom-built aircraft.
The Spirit of St. Louis.
The Spirit of St. Louis.
What a marvel of engineering.
I mean, designed for long-distance flight, even if it meant sacrificing comfort.
Oh, yeah.
A single-engine monoplane with a wingspan longer than a Boeing 737?
Wow, can you imagine?
Being alone in that tiny cockpit?
I know.
For hours?
Yeah.
Over the vast Atlantic?
It's almost unimaginable. 33 hours of solitude.
Fighting fatigue? Battling sleep?
Yeah.
Navigating by the stars?
That takes some serious mental and physical strength.
Absolutely.
And when he finally landed in Paris, the world just erupted.
He went from obscurity to global stardom.
I mean, it was a moment that captured the world's imagination.
It really did.
Human triumph.
Against all odds.
Yeah. But like you said,
fame can be a double-edged sword.
It can be.
Yeah.
And Lindbergh's life was a mix of triumph and tragedy. The kidnapping and murder of his infant son cast a shadow over his fame.
And forced him to retreat from the public eye.
And I think it's a reminder that even those who achieve extraordinary feats are still human, vulnerable to the same joys and sorrows.
Absolutely.
And the Lindbergh story highlights that.
It does.
The interplay between public achievement and personal struggles.
It's all part of their legacy.
Yeah. So behind every great feat of aviation is a human being.
With all their complexities and vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't just daredevils seeking thrills.
No.
They were driven by passion.
Right.
A desire to explore.
Yeah.
And a belief in the power of human ingenuity.
And speaking of overcoming obstacles, our next aviation pioneer is someone who defied expectations and soared to new heights.
Okay.
In a time when women were often told to stay grounded.
Right.
Amelia Earhart.
Amelia Earhart. What sparked her passion?
It's actually quite fascinating. Her journey into aviation wasn't a straightforward one.
Okay.
I read that she initially had reservations about flying.
Interesting.
I'm finding it a little unnerving.
Oh. Well.
But then she had this chance encounter with an air show, and it was like a switch flipped.
Wow.
And suddenly this apprehension transformed into a passion.
Wow, what a turnaround.
It is. And once she set her mind to it,
Yeah.
she was unstoppable.
She was.
She faced financial challenges,
Right.
societal expectations that discouraged women
Of course.
from pursuing such a dangerous hobby.
Yeah. But she didn't let that stop her.
She refused to be deterred.
Yeah, she earned her pilot's license.
Yeah.
When female aviators were rare.
And then her record-breaking altitude flight really set the stage
It did.
for what was to come. It was a statement
It was.
that she wasn't just content with participating.
Right.
She wanted to excel.
It was a victory for women.
Yeah. And she later flew across the Atlantic as a passenger.
Okay.
But that wasn't enough.
No.
She was determined to pilot the journey herself.
Okay.
Which she did.
Becoming the first woman
to fly solo across the Atlantic.
It was a groundbreaking achievement, a symbol of women's empowerment.
And the courage it must have taken to embark on such a journey alone. Battling weather, defying societal norms.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
And she didn't stop there.
She didn't.
She wanted to keep pushing those boundaries.
So she participated in the first women's air races.
Oh, the air races.
A real testament to her competitive spirit.
Absolutely. And they weren't just about competition.
No.
They were about women supporting women in a field that was hostile to their presence.
A real sisterhood.
A sisterhood of the skies.
That's amazing.
Pushing boundaries together.
I love that. So her transatlantic flight made her a global icon.
It did.
A symbol of what women could achieve.
Absolutely.
And she continued to push those boundaries.
She did.
A Hawaii-California flight. A Mexico City, New York flight.
It was a relentless pursuit of new challenges.
And it was her ambition to circumnavigate the globe that really captivated the world.
A mission that pushed the limits of technology and endurance.
It did, and it was a journey that would forever etch her name in the annals of aviation history.
But not for the reasons she'd hoped.
Right. Her first attempt was cut short.
It was.
Due to damage during takeoff.
Yeah.
But she was undeterred.
No?
She set off again with navigator Fred Noonan, more determined than ever.
She was.
They flew across continents, battling unpredictable weather, navigating vast distances.
Yeah.
But tragically, they disappeared.
I did.
Over the Pacific Ocean.
It remains one of aviation's greatest mysteries.
It does.
A reminder of the risks of exploration.
Absolutely.
The fragile nature of human life.
Her story continues to fascinate.
It does.
And inspire.
Yeah.
A tragic end to a life full of daring and achievement.
Yes.
And while Amelia Earhart's story is well known, another remarkable aviator often gets overshadowed.
Really?
Amy Johnson.
Okay.
A British pilot who broke numerous records.
Oh, wow.
And blazed her own trail in the world of aviation.
And what was her story?
Well, she wasn't born into privilege.
Okay.
Or with an obvious path to aviation stardom. She really had to fight for her place.
So she had to prove herself.
Time and again.
Wow.
And her journey began in a rather unconventional way. She was an economics graduate.
Really?
Who stumbled upon a love for flying after a chance encounter with an airfield.
Wow. So from economics to conquering the skies.
That's right. But her path was not paved with roses.
No.
Her first instructor was incredibly discouraging.
Really?
Telling her she'd never make it.
Oh, wow.
As a pilot.
That's terrible.
And she faced that skepticism that so many women encountered at the time.
That aviation was a man's domain?
Right.
It's sad.
It is.
But it also speaks to her determination.
She didn't let the doubts of others dictate her dreams.
Good for her.
She earned her pilot's license.
Yeah.
And then did something even more remarkable.
What's that?
She became the first woman in Britain to obtain a ground engineer's license.
So she didn't just want to fly.
No.
She wanted to understand the mechanics.
That's right.
Wow, that shows dedication.
And that dedication served her well in her most audacious goal.
What was that?
To fly solo to Australia.
To Australia?
Yeah.
That must have seemed impossible.
It did.
Especially with her limited experience.
Right.
What made her think she could do it?
It was a combination of factors.
Yeah.
Her unwavering belief in herself.
Okay.
Her meticulous preparation. And the unwavering support of her father.
Oh, wow.
Who helped her acquire a secondhand Gypsy Moth biplane.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Which she named Jason.
She named it Jason?
She did. And on May 5th, 1930...
Okay.
She took off from England.
Wow.
Embarking on a journey that would test her skills. Yeah. Like never before.
So she sets off on this incredible journey.
Yeah.
In this tiny biplane.
Yeah.
What were the challenges?
It was a grueling test of endurance. 19 days. Crossing vast distances. Navigating with basic maps. Facing unpredictable weather. And dealing with the loneliness.
Of solo flight.
Yeah.
Imagine the mental fortitude.
To keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Did she reach Australia?
She did. She landed in Darwin.
Wow.
To a hero's welcome.
I bet.
Now, she didn't break any speed records.
Okay.
But she achieved something far more significant.
Yeah.
She became the first woman to fly solo from Britain to Australia.
That's incredible.
A national sensation.
Yeah.
A symbol of female empowerment.
And it sounds like this was just the beginning of her record-breaking career.
So where did her adventures take her next?
She set her sights on Moscow. Flying there with a co-pilot in record time.
Wow.
And then they continued on to Japan. Shattering another speed record.
She was unstoppable.
She was a force to be reckoned with.
She was.
And amidst all these achievements, she found time for romance.
Really?
She met Jim Mollison. Another record-breaking aviator.
Oh, and they fell head over heels.
Really?
And got married just a few hours after meeting.
A whirlwind romance.
Yeah, talk about a whirlwind romance.
And even marriage couldn't slow Amy down.
No, she wasn't content to just be Mrs. Mollison.
No.
She continued to chase records.
Wow.
Even breaking her husband's record.
Get out.
For a solo flight to South Africa.
That's amazing.
I know, it's a testament to her competitive spirit.
It is.
To her desire to constantly push herself. And her refusal to be defined by anyone else's achievements.
I love that. What a power couple.
They were.
And they even attempted a transatlantic flight together.
They did. They were aiming for a nonstop journey from Wales to the USA.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, they ran out of fuel.
Oh, no.
And had to crash land in Connecticut.
Oh, my gosh.
Thankfully, they survived.
That's good.
But it was a stark reminder of the dangers of early aviation.
Even for the most experienced pilots.
They emerged from it relatively unscathed.
Oh, good.
And their daring flight made them celebrities.
Right.
In America.
Wow.
But Amy's heart remained set on pushing her own limits.
She continued to break records.
She did. Racking up an impressive list of achievements.
Cementing her place in history.
Absolutely a true trailblazer.
She was.
And her life took on a new purpose during World War II.
Oh, really?
She joined the Air Transport Auxiliary.
The ATA.
Yeah, an organization of pilots.
Yeah.
Many of them women.
Oh, wow.
Who ferried Royal Air Force aircraft.
So they played a vital role.
They did.
In the war effort.
Yeah. So from breaking records to serving her country.
Wow.
She really led a life.
She did.
Of service and adventure.
And how did her story end?
Sadly, it was during one of these ferry flights that her life was cut short.
Oh, no.
She got lost in bad weather and crashed into the Thames estuary.
What a heartbreaking end.
It was a reminder of the fragility of life.
It is.
And the sacrifices made by so many during those turbulent times.
Absolutely.
Her story is one of courage, determination, and a relentless pursuit of her passion.
A true pioneer.
She was. And a symbol of female empowerment.
Absolutely.
Who left an indelible mark on aviation history.
That she did.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Exploring the lives of these incredible aviators. What are your takeaways?
I'm just so inspired by their courage, their ingenuity, and their absolute determination.
They really did make the impossible possible.
You know what strikes me?
Right.
Their sense of wonder.
Yeah.
That childlike fascination.
With flight.
Yeah.
And they risked their lives to chase those dreams. Yeah. And in doing so, they changed the world.
They did. They shrank the globe.
Yeah.
They connected continents.
Right.
And they inspired generations.
To look up at the sky.
Yes.
And imagine a future.
Where the stars were the limit.
And their stories don't end there.
That's right.
Their legacy lives on.
It does. And that's what we'll explore in part 2.
Okay.
We're going to delve into the lasting impact of these early flights.
Okay.
How they shaped society.
Yeah.
And how they spurred technological revolutions.
All right. Sounds good.
And helped create the world we live in today.
So stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah.
Where we'll take a closer look at the ripple effects of these pioneers' daring adventures.
Sounds good.
And the legacy they left behind.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of early aviation.
Glad to be back.
It's amazing to think that these pioneers weren't just daredevils.
Yeah.
They were visionaries.
Absolutely.
Who really laid the groundwork for a technological and societal revolution.
That continues to this day.
It's incredible.
What I think is fascinating is how those early
kind of rickety flights
sparked
a chain reaction of innovation.
Really opened up a whole new world.
Yeah, a whole new realm of possibilities.
And the world rushed in.
Yeah, to explore, to innovate.
Yeah.
And to connect.
In ways never before imagined.
Yeah.
Thinking about those early balloon flights and fast forwarding to today's world of supersonic jets and space exploration.
It's unbelievable.
I know. It really highlights how those early pioneers didn't just conquer the skies.
They ignited a global passion.
Yeah.
For pushing boundaries.
It's incredible.
They were catalysts for change.
Absolutely.
And their impact extended far beyond just aviation.
Right.
I mean, before flight journeys across oceans took weeks or months.
I know.
The world suddenly became much smaller.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just speed either.
Right.
It offered a whole new perspective.
Right.
A literal change in viewpoint.
Right. That expanded our understanding of geography.
And our place in the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing the Earth from above for the first time.
Yeah.
Witnessing the curvature of the planet.
It must have been awe-inspiring.
The vastness of the oceans.
Yeah.
The intricate patterns of human settlement.
Shifting their perception.
Absolutely. It really made them think differently about the world.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the aviators who benefited from this new perspective. Aerial photography quickly became a powerful tool.
It did. For mapping, surveying.
And even military reconnaissance.
Yeah.
So photography from the air revolutionized cartography.
That's right.
Providing detailed maps that were previously impossible to create.
Can you imagine trying to map a coastline from the ground?
I can't.
But from the air? It's so easy.
To see the bigger picture.
Yeah, and to create accurate representations.
Yeah. It's incredible how aerial photography also opened up new avenues for scientific research. Studying weather patterns, geological formations, even ecological systems.
It was like gaining a new set of eyes.
It was. I mean, what about the technology itself?
The technology.
I mean, it's amazing how quickly aviation technology evolved.
It is.
Yeah.
From balloons to gliders to powered aircraft.
Yeah.
And eventually the machines that could cross oceans.
It's amazing.
What do you think drove this rapid evolution?
I think it was a combination of factors.
Yeah.
Technological advancements.
Of course.
Obviously played a key role.
Yeah. But also the competition between aviators who were constantly pushing the limits.
Trying to go further and faster.
Yeah. And don't forget the public's fascination, which led to investment and support for aviation research.
That's right.
So it was like a snowball effect. Each breakthrough, like new challenges.
New solutions.
New solutions.
Yeah. Right.
An ever-accelerating pace of progress.
And this development wasn't just happening in isolation.
No, it wasn't.
It was having ripple effects on other industries as well.
That's right.
So think about the development of the internal combustion engine, a technology that was crucial for the advancement of powered flight.
Right.
The demands of aviation pushed engineers to create lighter, more powerful engines.
Exactly.
And those advancements spilled over into the development of automobiles. motorcycles. All sorts of things.
Yeah.
So it's a classic example of how innovation in one field can spark advancements.
In unrelated areas.
Yeah, in seemingly unrelated areas, leading to a cascade of progress.
That's right.
That benefits everybody.
What about the impact on things like navigation?
Yeah, navigation, communication.
Communication, meteorology. Meteorology, I mean, these were all impacted.
They were.
By the challenges of aviation.
Yeah. I mean, pilots needed accurate maps, reliable compasses, ways to communicate.
With each other?
Yeah.
With the ground.
Especially as they started flying longer distances.
Yeah. In more challenging conditions.
And then, of course, they needed to understand weather patterns.
So they could navigate safely.
Yeah.
Through storms.
Right. Fog, all these things, all the hazards. Yeah. So the development of radio communication was huge.
It was.
Especially for air traffic control.
It revolutionized it.
Yeah, and safety.
Absolutely.
Allowing for real-time communication.
Yeah, between pilots.
Yeah.
And ground crews.
This was a game changer.
A game changer. It meant more efficient coordination of flights, quicker responses to emergencies, and it reduced the risk of collisions.
So important.
So important.
And it meant that pilots could get up-to-date weather information.
Yeah, in flight.
So flights were safer.
Safer.
So predictable.
Yeah, and as aviation technology progressed, the impact on society became more and more pronounced.
It did.
Air travel started to transform transportation.
Offering a speed and efficiency that just wasn't possible before.
The emergence of commercial airlines was a pivotal moment.
It really was.
It made air travel accessible to more people.
To the masses.
Yeah, and that opened up
new opportunities.
For tourism, for business, for international relations.
It's so important.
I mean, think about the impact on global commerce.
Yeah. Businesses could now transport goods and people
across continents
in a fraction of the time.
The world was shrinking.
It really was.
The pace of business was accelerating.
And international trade expanded rapidly.
Fueled by the ease and speed of air transport.
Right.
New markets opened up. Economic growth was stimulated. And cultural exchange between nations became more frequent.
And more dynamic.
The world was becoming interconnected.
And aviation was a driving force.
A driving force.
Behind this globalization.
Yeah. And it wasn't just practical implications.
No.
Aviation captured the public's imagination.
Yeah, inspiring books, films, became a symbol of human ingenuity and progress.
Absolutely.
And it sparked a wave of futurism.
Really inspiring visions of a world transformed by air travel.
Yeah.
Those early aviators were often seen as heroes.
They were.
Their exploits were celebrated.
They were role models.
I mean, they really embodied
a
spirit of adventure.
And a belief in the power of human ingenuity.
And it's incredible.
It is.
To think that those early flights, often undertaken, with so few resources, and facing such immense risks, laid the foundation
for the interconnected world
that we live in today.
A world where we take these things for granted.
It's a testament to innovation.
It really is.
How a single spark can transform entire industries.
And reshape the course of history.
Yeah. But this revolution wasn't without its downsides.
You're right.
While aviation held so much promise for connecting us, it also had the potential to be used for destruction.
Right.
And that potential was realized
quickly.
All too quickly. I mean, the use of aircraft in World War I really marked a turning point.
A turning point in military history.
The skies became a battleground.
They did.
And the development of fighter planes, bombers, reconnaissance aircraft.
It really revolutionized warfare.
It's sobering, isn't it?
It is.
An invention with so much promise for connecting humanity could be used for destruction. It highlights that duality of innovation.
Yeah.
That technology
can be used
for good or for evil.
And that tension between progress and peril continued.
Years after the war.
And aviation technology continued to advance.
It did.
But the shadow of conflict
loomed large. Yeah. More powerful engines, more aerodynamic designs.
And increasingly sophisticated weaponry.
Yeah. It fueled an arms race.
That would lead to World War II.
And even more devastating air battles.
It's a dark chapter.
A dark chapter.
In aviation history.
But those lessons helped shape aviation regulations, air traffic control systems.
And the quest for peaceful uses of airspace. But even with the horrors of war, the spirit of exploration that drove those early pioneers continued.
They kept pushing.
New records were set, new frontiers explored.
Yeah.
And the dream of space travel
took hold.
Yeah,
we saw the emergence of jet aircraft, supersonic flight.
The dawn of the space age.
It was a time of unparalleled.
I mean, from those early flights to reaching the edge of space.
It's mind-blowing.
It is. It's a real testament to human curiosity.
Yeah, that desire to push boundaries.
So those early aviators really inspired this incredible leap forward.
They laid the foundation.
They did.
For the advancements that made spaceflight possible.
So where do you see this journey taking us next?
I think we're on the verge of some really exciting developments.
Like what?
Electric aircraft that could revolutionize short-haul flights.
Interesting.
Reduce environmental impact. Hypersonic travel is also on the horizon.
Wow.
Which could reduce travel times.
Drastically.
And commercial space tourism.
Oh, wow.
Which could make spaceflight more accessible.
Imagine a weekend getaway in space.
Who knows what's next?
It's incredible.
The quest to explore is still alive and well.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what do you think are the most important lessons?
The power of dreams.
Yeah.
The importance of perseverance. And what we can achieve when we combine human ingenuity with adventure.
And a willingness to challenge the status quo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It all started with people looking up at the sky.
And imagining.
That
we could fly.
And look at us now.
I know, it's incredible. Those early aviators faced so many challenges.
Skepticism.
Yeah.
Setbacks.
Yeah.
But they refused to give up.
They dared to dream big.
They did.
They took risks.
They pushed boundaries.
And they transformed the world.
Absolutely.
Inspiring generations to come.
They showed us that anything is possible.
Welcome back for the final leg of our journey through aviation history.
It's been quite a ride.
It really has.
From balloons and gliders to the jet age and space exploration.
It's amazing to see how far we've come.
Human ingenuity and the pursuit of flight
have transformed our world.
It's incredible to consider how we live in a world now where air travel is commonplace.
It really is.
Connecting people and cultures.
In a way those early aviators couldn't have imagined.
What are your thoughts?
It's easy to take it for granted.
It is?
You know, we hop on a plane and jet across continents.
I know, it's amazing.
Without a second thought.
Yeah.
But when you think about the complexity.
The technological advancements.
Yeah.
The global infrastructure.
It's mind-boggling.
And to think it all stemmed from those early dreamers.
I know.
Who dared to imagine a world where we could fly.
It's a testament to human ambition.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about passenger travel either.
No.
Air cargo has become so important.
A cornerstone of global commerce.
Yeah.
Transporting goods, medicine supplies.
To every corner of the planet.
With incredible speed and efficiency.
I was just reading,
about how air cargo is vital for disaster relief.
Yeah, delivering aid.
To remote areas.
That couldn't be reached quickly otherwise.
It's fascinating.
It is.
How aviation has become such an integral part of our world.
And the advancements keep pushing the boundaries.
I know, it's incredible.
Supersonic jets, massive cargo planes.
Unmanned aerial vehicles.
Drones.
Changing everything.
They really are.
Aerial photography.
Package delivery. It's like science fiction.
It is.
These small aircraft zipping through the air.
Carrying out tasks we couldn't have imagined.
Not long ago.
And speaking of science fiction.
Yeah.
Space travel.
A far-fetched notion.
Has become a reality.
It has.
From the first steps into orbit. To exploring Mars.
It's unbelievable.
It's awe-inspiring.
When you think about those early pioneers.
Risking their lives.
In those flimsy contractions.
Just to get off the ground.
And now.
We have astronauts walking on the moon.
A testament to human ambition. And the desire to explore.
They may not have made it to space themselves.
No.
But they paved the way.
Absolutely.
For this leap forward.
Their pioneering spirit.
It laid the foundation for so many advancements.
It did.
That made spaceflight possible.
So where do you see this journey taking us next?
I think we're on the cusp of even more developments.
Like what?
Electric aircraft.
Okay.
Revolutionizing short-haul flights.
Interesting.
Hypersonic travel.
Wow.
Reducing travel times.
Drastically.
And commercial space tourism.
Wow.
Making spaceflight accessible.
Imagine a weekend getaway in space.
Who knows what's next?
The quest to explore keeps going.
Alive and well.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the most important lessons?
The power of dreams.
Okay.
Perseverance. What we can achieve when we combine ingenuity with adventure and challenging the status quo.
They dared to dream big.
They did.
They took risks.
Absolutely.
And they pushed the boundary.
And they inspired generations to come.
They showed us that anything is possible.
With passion, dedication, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
And that's a perfect note to end on.
It is.
A huge thank you to you, our listeners.
For joining us.
For joining us on this deep dive into aviation.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you learned something new.
We'll see you next time.
For another deep dive into history.